All versions of chapters are posted in the Discord, from the raws, rough translations, some less accurate full translations, and of course the best version from the scans of Metsudo when they drop it. But today I have chapter 117 of Kengan Omega, with us getting the reveal of Tarashi's face and various other reveals about this mysterious man. Take note, I'm not reading the 100% perfect translation for today's review, but I will make editing corrections when the Scan of Metsudo translation comes out before you're watching today's video. But yep, hope you enjoy. We begin where we left off, with both of Clown Boy's arms bleeding from Tarashi's mysterious ability, but luckily to Okibo, only his skin was torn from that ability, so it's not going to limit him in any way as the fight continues. And we also questions whether his strikes will actually work against Tarashi, and we do see something that kind of reminded me of Formless when I first, looked at the raws when they dropped. I thought Tarashi was using Formless for a split second when I saw this panel, but that isn't the case. And then out of nowhere, before Okibo can really understand what's going on, we see Tarashi actually going for an attack, but they do put an emphasis on these rippling effects from his foot as Tarashi is charging. But yeah, he goes for an attack. Instead of going for like a punch, a stab or anything like that, our boy Tarashi, the absolute trolling king, goes for a slap on Okibo. And honestly, one of the most goofy exchanges ever in Kengan, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I actually quite enjoyed this. Man, this ran up to him and slapped him across the face, and of course you would expect it to do very little damage, but it actually did something because of Tarashi's ability, which I'll get into soon. But even this slap freaks out Wakatsuki, saying how can it inflict damage from a slap like that? But then we have Okibo pretty much working out Tarashi's technique. The real secret of your technique is vibration. Then we get like a, honestly, Baki level explanation of this technique. This is like something ripped out of Baki, something I would expect to see in Baki, not something in Kengan, but it's pretty bizarre. But let's get into it. So Tarashi's technique is pretty much shaking or shivering, which is very unique. It mentions that a normal person shivers about 200 times per minute, while Tarashi is almost 15 times more than an ordinary person, 3,000 times per minute. With Clown Boy also saying it seems like an amplified version of Fajin, where it can easily penetrate, the body and deal damage with, very little amount of touch or strikes landing on your opponent. Remember, this is a not so perfect translation I'm reviewing in today's video, so that may be different in the better version that comes out. But apart from being able to penetrate people's defenses with his vibration-based attacks, he can also scatter the damage from attacks landed on him, such as the various strikes Okibo landed on Tarashi last chapter, which resulted in Okibo's hands to actually start bleeding, as his vibrations actually cancel out like half of its power to actually inflict some damage back to the user, which is pretty unique as well. So even when attacking Tarashi, you will take a little bit of damage, but I doubt it's anything like major. As we saw, it only cut his fist. It wasn't like some crazy damage where he wasn't able to punch anymore. And Okibo pretty much assumes this technique is so effective that he could keep on striking to deal damage, but it won't be effective at the end. So Tarashi's vibration defense could be actually quite overpowered if that actually is the reality, but he works out the one weakness it has, and of course he's not able to vibrate his face or his head as much as the rest of his body, so he's going to start attacking his mask. And we also have Tarashi confirming this with some inner monologue saying only the head can't vibrate at high speeds. So now Okibo is going to strike the head, but we also have Tarashi being a little bit mysterious yet again. Thank you for noticing the shivering tactics. It's convenient. So Tarashi is still up for something, but we also have, Okibo thinking about the best course of action. He thinks about grappling, how these techniques will be nullified, and when striking his body, the damage is half, so maybe it confirms any attack landed on Tarashi's body is halved, which is pretty overpowered. So now our clown has worked out the best course of action and has begun to strike Tarashi, with him being able to completely blitz him with his strikes, with us cutting to Gaolang to, give Okibo some praise, saying that he's a top-notch striker and has, fast blows. And as we know, thanks to Okibo's backstory, the King of Combat, he actually has a lot of boxing skill. That's why, his striking is top-notch. Not like at the level of Gaolang or Carlos, or probably not even Kano, but a little bit below. and enough to take out someone like Tarashi, who isn't really a current or, modern martial artist like, Okubo is. But he's able to completely blitz and land multiple attacks on Tarashi. And it does seem like he's using the, Gao Lang's move, the flash, but I don't believe it is that. It's just that compared to Tarashi's unskilled, body, he's able to, completely blitz him with various strikes where it seems like he's getting, hit by a flash from Gao Lang. But it does demonstrate that Okubo is indeed a top tier striker, and as a whole, as we know, a top tier all-rounder similar to Kano Higito. With Carlos also confirming this with, his very clear boxing experience and those, pretty high level jabs, and that punches of that level can never be dodged by an amateur. And of course, Tarashi is an amateur compared to, regular martial arts, and he's able to land enough strikes to pretty much knock off the mask of Tarashi. And many people, based on a lot of the interaction through this, will be saying Tarashi has foresight. I don't believe that is the case, because remember prior we had in a monologue with Tarashi realizing that Okubo has realized or worked out, the best course of action to counter his vibrations, to strike his head. So Tarashi was already aware where Okubo was going to strike. It's not that he had foresight to work out, he just had, a thinking ability, had the brain power to work out where he was going to attack. But regardless of him knowing where he was going to get hit, he isn't, fast enough or doesn't have the ability to dodge someone as fast as Okubo or dodge someone as skilled as Okubo when it comes to striking. With, Okubo saying, can he react to my speed? That isn't the case. He just knew where, he was going to hit, and he was able to pretty much at least stop himself from being knocked out. But yeah, we have him pretty much crouched on the ground after getting hit by these various strikes, pretty much hiding his face more than anything. I don't think it's really about the amount of damage those jabs did to Tarashi. I think it's just more about him hiding his face. And we also have Lo Long mentioning that Okubo being overly cautious is pretty much more in the favor of Tarashi at this point. And Carlos pretty much talking some shit, saying if he was, in Okubo's place here, he would have been very aggressive now and could have actually ended the fight. But Okubo is taking the path better to be safe than sorry, as Tarashi is still very mysterious and doesn't want to get, completely rolled thinking he, has the advantage here. So I'm liking that Okubo is being a lot more of a smart fighter this chapter, unlike his previous chapters where Crackhead Energy was over the top, being a little bit wild and kind of getting clowned on. But now this chapter he's showing his, very high battle intelligence and his, very top-notch skill. But yeah, then we have Tarashi saying he was actually underestimating, Okubo. It seems you're different from the Purgatory B-class gladiators. I think that's very clear. I don't know why Tarashi was thinking or looking down on someone like Okubo if he was chosen to represent Kengan, and Tarashi has already seen the power of various other Kengan fighters. You would think he would have, actually been more serious against Okubo and that he would be stronger than a B-class gladiator. As we know, Tarashi's only had one match in Purgatory so far, and that's where I'm guessing he no-diffed a B-class gladiator with his vibration technique, which resulted in the Purgatory CEO to select him as one of the 13 fighters for Purgatory. But yeah, Tarashi will most likely get serious now, but we get to see his face, and this isn't the face I expected to see from Tarashi. He doesn't look like an absolute ugly bastard, and he isn't blind as well, so yeah. But he does say something even more mysterious than what he was acting like when he had the mask on. You did it. I have to change my face again. So, yep. And he also mentions that it was an expensive doctor. Then from there, we cut to, the one and only, the legendary doctor of the Kenganverse, Hanafusa, with him saying, oh, he's my patient. So we learned that Tarashi was the patient of Hanafusa in the past, maybe to change his face, and it seems like he's done it multiple times. We actually see Lu Dongchen in the, doctor area, and our boy Falcon, practicing some, ninjutsu in the corner. You like to see that. And the most important thing, we get the return of the, extra, thick nurse that's, paired with Hanafusa. Just going to leave this panel on screen now for, a little bit longer, just to admire the, curves and that. But yeah, we also see Falcon again practicing some ninjutsu. So, respect that boy Falcon, still getting that hardcore training in. Falcon, absolute go. Respect Falcon. The new meta Falcon greatness will rise. Then Hanafusa states some interesting stuff, that it's not a problem to give out information about Tarashi because he'll soon become another person. But it's funny, why is he vibrating like a sex toy? So a new top tier line of this chapter. Last chapter was Okubo calling Tarashi sus. Now it's Hanafusa calling Tarashi a sex toy. But yeah, it seems like Tarashi is even more mysterious now than what he was when he had the mask on, considering he's someone who changes his face. And it also seems like Hanafusa didn't have a role in giving Tarashi this vibration based ability. He was more involved in changing his face. That's my assumption. I'm going to wait till the better translations come out to explain this better. I'll probably do a pinned comment for any mistakes or stuff I need to, make better sense of. But then the final line and final panel of the chapter from Tarashi, with him seeming to be very angry. I hate real faces. You can see it too much. So yeah, Tarashi is a bit of a crackhead, it seems like. But yeah, Tarashi's more mysterious than ever, even with his face revealed. And this pretty much confirms he isn't a character that we've seen before based on his current face, but it still could be a possibility considering he has changed his face in the past. I'm guessing he has multiple times. So he could be a character we've seen before, we just don't recognize him, or he could be a brand new character that maybe some specific characters in the Kangenverse know, but us, the audience haven't actually seen him properly in Kangen. But yeah, that's pretty much everything for today's chapter. As a whole, very unique, not really what I expected regarding his ability and his face and the more mysterious nature of Tarashi. I did enjoy Okubo's more intelligent fighting ability in this chapter and his top-notch striking ability, which was great to see, to remind us even though he's more of a clown in Omega, he's still a top-level fighter. But yeah, that should be everything, guys. Shout out to the people who support the channel via the Patreon, absolute mad lads. If you want to support the channel as well while receiving various benefits, check out the Patreon in the description. But yep, that's it, guys. Peace.